Most people fail the CCNA 2026 on the questions hiding near the end of this round, and you are about to face every one of them. Here's the game. 23 real exam-style questions. Read each one, lock in your answer before the timer reveals it, and keep a running score. They get harder as you go, and the ones that trip up the most test takers are stacked near the finish. Make it to the end with your streak alive, and you will walk into the real exam ready. First question is up now. Question 1 of 23. What is a characteristic of a collapsed core network topology? Option A. It enables all workstations in a SOHO environment to connect on a single switch with internet access. Option B. It enables the core and access layers to connect to one logical distribution device over an Ether channel. Option C. It allows wireless devices to connect directly to the core layer, which enables faster data transmission. Option D. It allows the core and distribution layers to run as a single combined layer. Choose the best answer before the reveal. Commit to it now. The answer is Option D. Exam logic. A collapsed core network topology combines the core and distribution layers into a single logical tier. This design is typically implemented in smaller campus networks to reduce hardware costs and configuration complexity while maintaining adequate performance. Question 2 of 23. How is RFC 1918 addressing used in a network? Option A. They are used to access the internet from the internal network without conversion. Option B. They are used in place of public addresses for increased security. Option C. They are used with NAT to preserve public IPv4 addresses. Option D. They are used by internet service providers to route over the internet. Lock in your pick before the reveal. Trust the read. The answer is Option C. Why it works. RFC 1918 private IP addresses are used internally within a network and must be translated using network address translation to access the internet. This translation process allows multiple internal devices to share a single public IP address, preserving the limited IPv4 space. Question 3 of 23. What is the purpose of using first-hop redundancy protocol on a specific subnet? Option A. Forwards multicast hello messages between routers. Option B. Provides a redundant default gateway for hosts on a subnet. Option C. Ensures a loop-free physical topology. Option D. Filters traffic based on destination IP addressing. Decide on the strongest option before the reveal. Stay with your gut. The answer is Option B. Key Q. First-hop redundancy protocols provide gateway redundancy by allowing multiple routers to share a single virtual IP address. If the active default gateway fails, another router assumes the virtual IP, ensuring continuous network access for hosts without requiring reconfiguration. Question 4 of 23. What is a requirement when configuring or removing lag on a WLC? Option A. The incoming and outgoing ports for traffic flow must be specified if lag is enabled. Option B. The management interface must be reassigned if lag is disabled. Option C. The controller must be rebooted after enabling or reconfiguring lag. Option D. Multiple untagged interfaces on the same port must be supported. Make the call before the reveal. Hold the line on it. The answer is Option C. Behind the answer, enabling, disabling, or reconfiguring link aggregation on a wireless LAN controller requires a reboot to apply the physical port changes. Interface assignments are negotiated automatically when link aggregation is active. Question 5 of 23. Which command displays the IPv4 routing table on a Cisco iOS device? Option A. show IP route. Option B. show IP interface brief. Option C. show running config. Option D. show ARP. Choose the best answer before the reveal. Commit to it now. The answer is Option A. Reasoning. The show IP route command displays the active IPv4 routing table, including connected, static, and dynamic routes. The show IP interface brief command only displays interface statuses, not routing logic. You are 25% in. Score check. Everyone you nail now is exam confidence in the bank. Question 6 of 23. What occurs when overlapping Wi-Fi channels are implemented? Option A. Users experience poor wireless network performance. Option B. Wireless devices are unable to distinguish between different SSIDs. Option C. The wireless network becomes vulnerable to unauthorized access. Option D. Network communications are open to eavesdropping. Lock in your pick before the reveal. Trust the read. The answer is option A. What the exam tests here. Overlapping Wi-Fi channels cause adjacent channel interference, resulting in packet retransmissions and poor network performance. Proper channel planning, like using channels 1, 6, and 11, mitigates this degradation. Question 7 of 23. Which wireless security protocol relies on perfect forward secrecy? Option A. AWP. Option B. WPA2. Option C. CWPA. Option D. WBA3. Decide on the strongest option before the reveal. Stay with your gut. The answer is option D. Exam logic. WPA3 uses simultaneous authentication of equals to provide perfect forward secrecy. Older protocols like WPA2 lack this feature, making them vulnerable to offline dictionary attacks if the passphrase is compromised. Question 8 of 23. Which QoS per hop behavior changes the value of the twos field in the IPv4 packet header? Option A. Shaping. Option B. Policing. Option C. Classification. Option D. Demarking. Make the call before the reveal. Hold the line on it. The answer is option D. Why it works. Marking modifies the type of service field in the IPv4 header to assign a specific class of service. Classification only identifies traffic, while policing and shaping manage traffic flow without altering headers. Question 9 of 23. Which protocol is implemented when an organization must verify network performance, troubleshoot issues, and use an agent to communicate between monitoring tools and end devices? Option A. AFIP. Option B. Option C. NFS. Option D. SNMP. Choose the best answer before the reveal. Commit to it now. The answer is option D. KeyQ. The simple network management protocol uses an agent-based model to collect performance data and troubleshoot devices. The manager queries these agents, distinguishing it from file transfer or unrelated protocols. Question 10 of 23. Which network plane is centralized and manages routing decisions? Option A. Management plane. Option B. Data plane. Option C. Policy plane. Option D. Control plane. Lock in your pick before the reveal. Trust the read. The answer is option D. Behind the answer, the control plane manages routing decisions and builds routing tables. In software-defined networking, this plane is centralized within a controller, which programs the underlying data plane devices. Question 11 of 23. In which circumstance would a network architect decide to implement a global unicast subnet instead of a unique local unicast subnet? Option A. When the subnet must be available only within an organization. Option B. When the subnet does not need to be routable. Option C. When the addresses on the subnet must be equivalent to private IPv4 addresses. Option D. When the subnet must be routable over the internet. Decide on the strongest option before the reveal. Stay with your gut. The answer is option D. Reasoning. Global unicast IPv6 addresses are publicly routable on the internet. Unique local addresses function similarly to private IPv4 ranges and are not routed externally, making internet routability the deciding factor. Halfway done. The back half is where the real exam is won, so lock back in right now. Question 12 of 23. How do TCP and UDP differ in the way they provide reliability for delivery of packets? Option A. TCP does not guarantee delivery or error checking to ensure that there is no corruption of data. UDP provides message acknowledgement and retransmits data if lost. Option B. BTCP provides flow control to avoid overwhelming a receiver by sending too many packets at once. UDP sends packets to the receiver in a continuous stream without checking. Option C. CTCP is a connectionless protocol that does not provide reliable delivery of data. UDP is a connection-oriented protocol that uses sequencing to provide reliable delivery. Option D. TCP uses windowing to deliver packets reliably. UDP provides reliable message transfer between hosts by establishing a three-way handshake. Make the call before the reveal. Hold the line on it. The answer is option B. What the exam tests here. TCP uses flow control mechanisms like windowing to prevent overwhelming a receiver. UDP operates as a continuous, connectionless stream without these reliability checks, clearly distinguishing the two protocols. Question 13 of 23. What is a function of MAC address learning? Option A. It is disabled by default on all interfaces connected to trunks. Option B. It increases security on the management VLAN. Option C. It dynamically learns source MAC addresses and builds a MAC address table to enable frame forwarding. Option D. It increases the potential for MAC address flooding. Choose the best answer before the reveal. Commit to it now. The answer is option C. Exam logic. MAC address learning dynamically records source addresses and their ingress ports to build a MAC address table. This enables efficient unicast frame forwarding instead of flooding, defining core switch operation. Question 14 of 23. What is a characteristic of a Layer 2 switch? Option A. Responsible for sending data in a particular sequence. Option B. Uses routers to create collision domains. Option C. Avoids MAC address storage for faster transmission. Option D. Uses the data link layer for communications. Lock in your pick before the reveal. Trust the read. The answer is option D. Why it works. A Layer 2 switch operates at the data link layer of the OSI model to forward frames using MAC addresses. Routers create separate broadcast domains, while switches rely on MAC tables for transmission. Question 15 of 23. An organization has decided to start using cloud-provided services. Which cloud service allows the organization to install its own operating system on a virtual machine? Option A. Platform as a service. Option B. Network as a service. Option C. Software as a service. Option D. Infrastructure as a service. Decide on the strongest option before the reveal. Stay with your gut. The answer is option D. Key Q. Infrastructure as a service provides virtualized computing resources where customers install their own operating systems. Platform and software as a service limit this control, making infrastructure the required model. Question 16 of 23. Which syslog severity level is considered the most severe and results in the system being considered unusable? Option A. Error. Option B. Emergency. Option C. Alert. Option D. Critical. Make the call before the reveal. Hold the line on it. The answer is option B. Behind the answer, syslog level 0, known as emergency, indicates the system is completely unusable. The lower the numerical value in syslog, the higher the severity, making emergency more critical than alert or critical. 75% down. This is the part that decides it. Stay sharp. Question 17 of 23. Which type of port is used to connect the wired network when an autonomous AP maps two VLANs to its WLANs to its WLANs? Option A. access. Option B. lag. Option C. trunk. Option D. ether channel. Choose the best answer before the reveal. Commit to it now. The answer is option C. Reasoning. A trunk port is required when multiple VLANs must traverse a single physical interface. Because the autonomous access point maps two VLANs to its wireless networks, the switch port must carry tagged traffic for both VLANs. Question 18 of 23. Which rapid PVST plus port state does a port operate in without forwarding frames or updating the MAC address table? Option A listening. Option B forwarding. Option C disabled. Option D discarding. Lock in your pick before the reveal. Trust the read. The answer is option D. What the exam tests here. In rapid spanning tree, the discarding state replaces the traditional blocking and listening states. A port in this state does not forward data frames or learn MAC addresses, but it still processes BPDUs to maintain loop-free topology. Question 19 of 23. Which configuration is needed to generate an RSA key for SSH on a router? Option A configure VTY access. Option B configure the version of SSH. Option C assign a DNS domain name. Option D create a user with a password. Decide on the strongest option before the reveal. Stay with your gut. The answer is option C. Exam logic. Generating an RSA key pair requires a host name and a DNS domain name to create the crypto identity. While configuring VTY access is necessary for remote login, the key generation itself strictly requires the domain name. Question 20 of 23. Which mode must be used to configure Ether channel between two switches without using a negotiation protocol? Option A active. Option B on. Option C auto. Option D zero. Make the call before the reveal. Hold the line on it. The answer is option B. Why it works. Setting the channel group mode 2 on forces the interface to form an Ether channel without using any negotiation protocol. Both sides must be manually configured with this mode for the bundle to form successfully. Question 21 of 23. What is the effect when loopback interfaces and the configured router ID are absent during OSPF process configuration? Option A. The lowest IP address is incremented by 1 and selected as the router ID. Option B. The router ID, the IP address shown on screen, is selected and placed in the OSPF process. Option C. No router ID is set, and the OSPF protocol does not run. Option D. The highest up physical interface IP address is selected as the router ID. Choose the best answer before the reveal. Commit to it now. The answer is option D. Key Q. If no router ID is manually configured and no loopback interfaces exist, OSPF automatically selects the highest IP address on an active physical interface. The protocol selects the highest IP address rather than modifying it or failing to run. Home stretch. Nail these closers, and you have proven you are ready. Question 22 of 23. Which IPsec encryption mode is appropriate when the destination of a packet differs from the security termination point? Option A transport. Option B main. Option C aggressive. Option D tunnel. Lock in your pick before the reveal. Trust the read. The answer is option D. Behind the answer, tunnel mode encapsulates the entire original IP packet within a new packet with a separate outer header. This is necessary when the security termination points differ from the actual traffic source and destination, which is common in site-to-site VPNs. Question 23 of 23. What does a switch do when it receives a frame whose destination MAC address is missing from the MAC address table? Option A. It changes the checksum of the frame to a value that indicates an invalid frame. Option B. It updates the CAM table with the destination MAC address of the frame. Option C. It appends the table with a static entry for the MAC and shuts down the port. Option D. It floods the frame unchanged across all remaining ports in the incoming VLAN. Decide on the strongest option before the reveal. Stay with your gut. The answer is option D. Reasoning. When a switch receives a frame with an unknown destination MAC address, it treats it as unknown unicast and floods it unchanged. This forwarding occurs out all other ports within the incoming VLAN except the receiving port.